yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring to their knees. No pain for their disease. Just like a weed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to a very special edition Tuesday stream. We are streaming live on 4 different platforms across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different accounts. We are turning up on a Tuesday. It is TGI Tuesday here on the channel, and you best believe that that is a thing. As, of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. And this is the official rundown for Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor 2023, which, of course, is streaming live on Bleacher Report this Friday. Yes, you heard me correctly. This Friday at 8 p.m. from the Cure Insurance Arena in Trenton, New Jersey, my home state. I will not be there because I'm actually going on a trip down to Austin, Texas. I'm going to be living it up. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the storms. You see what I did there? Anyway, we have a lot to talk about here. And as you can see, I am not alone. Back once again, he is the creator of the Pencil Neck Wrestling Pinhead Nation. I'm sorry, I meant Pro Wrestling Powerhouse Nation. He is a very good friend of mine, DJ Storm's posse member, very, very, very lifelong wrestling fan, and he has got a lot of hot takes just like myself, which is why I like to have him on the show on a consistent basis. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome back here to the stream, Mr. Jay Alletto. How you doing, my friend?
Great, bro. And here's the thing. The difference between my hot takes and your hot takes is my hot takes get about 500,000 views. And I make the dirt sheets. And, I go viral. And I make cash. So I'm doing very, very well on the PWP Nation side of things. I would just like to say that I do enjoy being on this show, although we do have some ideological differences lately when it comes to the wrestling business. That's because AEW stinks right now, and it has for quite a while, but I do really like their Saturday night show. But I would like to say, first and foremost, that Rick Steiner does not deserve to be kicked off of WrestleCon for what he has said publicly. I think that's some bullshit. The only people that lose in that situation are the fans, and I'm dealing with the shitstorm on Twitter now as we speak. So if I'm a little bit distracted at times, don't mind me. And also, I would like to say as well that support your local police department. All right, guys, that's simple. I'd like to just put this to bed. Support your local PD. It doesn't matter what happened in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, with cops out there. Everybody's got flaws in every industry all over the world, okay? So support your local PD. They're going to hopefully, not have to do anything to protect you, but if they need to, hopefully they're there for you. So I just wanted to address that right out of the gate, but I'm ready to talk some Ring of Honor tonight with you, my friend.
Just to let you know, this is why I have James Penoseca in my chat right now. You better be fucking giving me my due. Just letting you know right here. You may be on the dirt sheets, but I promise you right now, everybody, and I mean everybody, knows who I am. They just won't give me the acknowledgement because they know that that's what I want.
I have 550,000 550,000. That's a lot of views on Twitter, bro.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I see
Come on.
you, but let me tell you something. I'm the king of around these parts. Okay, stay in your lane. Anyway, we got ourselves a lot to talk about. We're gonna go over Battle of the Belts a little bit as well. We're gonna talk about some altercations and some tidbits that were changed around with Ring of Honor. First of all, before we get started here, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me at Alletto. That's JayAlletto. All social media platforms and alternate platforms as well. Also at PWP Nation, most popularly. You can find me on Facebook. We're crushing on Facebook right now, completely crushing it. I play by different rules on Facebook. So if you want the PG-friendly version of what we do at PWP Nation, hit me up on Facebook. If you want that a little bit of like free speech, uncensored, more true to my brand, hit me up on Twitter at PWP Nation, and hit me up wherever, man. I'm an open book. I'm down to talk to anybody about anything, but just keep that woke shit away from me, man. Unless you want it just shoved right back in your face, because I will shove it back in your face. I'm not going to self-censor ever again.
You and me both, man. You and me, we both sit in the same boat right there. And as per usual, you can check out all those links down in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS. Why? Because all I do is fucking make history. You can also add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please make sure that you send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com, like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook. That is, if you guys missed any content that was up on the channel recently, please go and check it out. Go check out the Lightning Flash update. Go check out my vlog from ISPW Star, Stripes, and Slams, where we crowned a new ISPW World Heavyweight Champion in Richard Holiday, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does. He's pretty damn good. First time seeing him.
I like it. I like him. Let me just say real quick, I like him. I saw him wrestle at MLW one time live. He's very, very good, and I know he was sick for a little while, so yes. Congratulations on his recovery. But I think he's got big things to do in the business. I really like him a lot.
Oh, dude, like, what a fucking story it was. Guy overcame cancer, and he beat Crowbar, Leo Sparrow, and Bull James all in one night to become the new ISPW World Champion. He really is destined for greatness, I gotta say. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he does.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he really does have success in the business. I'll put him over for sure any day of the week.
On top of that, please support my girl, Brittany K. She is a wonderful human being, big supporter of the channel, and she does beautifully crafted designs from scratch on her iPad of all sorts of wrestlers, from Malachi Black to John Moxley and Karrion Kross and Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, you name it. If you want all these types of designs, and if you want new Twitter avies and or banners, she is your girl. Go and hit her up on Twitter at BrittanyK5150 and on Instagram at BrittanyKDesigns. Brittany, if you're watching, thank you very much for all the support. You are fantastic, and you are part of the reason why I continue to do this. Of course, if you are watching right now, anyone in the chat, I see Hula Grim, I see Billy, I see Sarah, I see Raphael. Anyone watching, you better be hitting the like button, whether you're watching on Twitch or Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, because we want as much of an outreach as possible. We collaborate around 5 to 6 times a year. We like to keep it special, because the world can't handle us all too often, because we are just too damn good for this world. So if you guys want to give us a nice wide outreach, please make sure you hit the like button and you share out the stream on all platforms, social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Get as many people in here as possible. And if you're watching on YouTube, whether it be my YouTube or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube, as Jay Alletto foolishly tries to mock my introduction. Let me tell you something. Jay, you're good, but you don't have this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. And this is Hooligram's favorite part of the stream right here. Listen. It's all right. It's all right, but it's not DJ Storm's all right. We're going to light it up right here with a little bit of and a dash of and a whole lot of because like fresh baked chicken right out of the oven. Put some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on that and a nice hot side of rice. I am just so good. Everybody wants a piece of me. Listen, I think it's a pretty obvious thing by now. But anyway, why don't we get right into the festivities here? I'm just going to ignore that. Let's get right into the festivities here.
Let me ask you a question real quick before we get into it. What's your is that an Orange Cassidy shirt you're rocking? What's your shirt? What kind of shirt?
Yes, it is an Orange Cassidy shirt.
You know what's funny is that I'm rocking an Undertaker shirt. You got Orange Cassidy, and Matt Hardy thinks they're both the same guy. It's crazy, bro. He thinks like Orange Cassidy is the AEW's Undertaker or something. It's weird.
Well, here's the thing. Before we get into what we're going to get into, I understand where he's coming from because they're both two unique gimmicks. However, there is absolutely no one that should be compared to The Undertaker. There is not a single soul on this planet that will ever be an Undertaker. The Undertaker is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever do it. There will never be another guy like The Undertaker. I understand that he's coming from a place of, okay, yeah, they're two unique gimmicks that got over with their fan base in ways that no one would have ever thought possible. However, when it comes to comparing one to the other, I think it's best that we save the comparisons and let the wrestlers of today carve their own legacies. Enough trying to be the next Undertaker or the next Rock or the next Stone Cold. How about be the first Orange Cassidy? That's where my head is at. Listen, his comments aren't harmful, but there is no comparison to The Undertaker. Let's just get that out there.
Fair. We'll leave it at that. I just thought it was funny. You're rocking the Orange Cassidy. I'm rocking the Undertaker. WrestleMania 29. Epic entrance.
I was there.
Rook shirt. Yeah, me too, bro. Me too.
Good shit, man. Those were the fucking days right there. But let me tell you something. I've been keeping up to date with Ring of Honor. I've been watching every week. I don't watch on the spot every week. I don't watch live every week. But I do keep up to date every week. And it's clear as day that Ring of Honor has not been Tony Khan's priority now. Because right now, Tony Khan's priority is All Elite Wrestling. And ever since Double or Nothing, Tony Khan has been going balls to the wall, all guns blazing. Contrary to what you may think, AEW is actually having their best summer to date right now. Dynamite, Forbidden Door. We got Blood and Guts coming up with the debut of Collision as well, which has been easily the best weekly wrestling show across the board, whether you compare it to NXT, to Raw, to Ring of Honor, to Dynamite. Dynamite's been very good for the most part as well, but Collision right now is on another level, especially with what happened last week with FTR and Bullet Club Gold. Absolutely fucking fantastic tag team match. But I understand his priority is with AEW, and that's fine, as it should be, because AEW's got the big media rights deal discussions, and AEW's got 5 hours of television time right now, 6 sometimes if you want to count Battle of the Belts as well. They could possibly be expanding their pay-per-views, but Ring of Honor right now has kind of been on the back burner. It hasn't been a dog shit show. I know what a dog shit show is. I watch Monday Night Raw and NXT every fucking week. I don't review NXT because fuck that. I watch it, but I don't fucking review that dog shit. However, Ring of Honor has not been must-see. It has not had a major focus ever since Supercard of Honor was over. The build towards Supercard of Honor was actually pretty solid. They fleshed it out very, very nicely. We got a very good pay-per-view with Supercard of Honor minus the crowd. I don't know what the fuck happened. At points of the show, that crowd was very, very lackluster here and there. But Ring of Honor has not really had a major focal point in Tony Khan's playbook right now. This card looks pretty decent for the most part, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that. What exactly would Tony Khan have to do in order to really put some focus on Ring of Honor? And in my eyes, even though he's got a nice set schedule and he's been able to split the rosters with Dynamite and Collision, and both shows have actually been flourishing this summer, he still doesn't have enough time for Ring of Honor. So if you're asking me, he should really assign some people to do Ring of Honor creative specifically. I don't know who. Bryan Danielson has actually been helping out with creative a little bit more as of lately. Rampage has actually improved slightly here and there because of Bryan Danielson. So, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. What does Tony Khan need to do to put a little bit more of a focal point on Ring of Honor?
I think Ring of Honor is best as it used to be. Now, I'm going to go back in the history books here. Ring of Honor used to just basically be the best of the indies, right? And every show they would have was essentially the best of the best on the independent scene. And they had a limited amount of shows. They wouldn't run every single weekend, sometimes every other week, sometimes once a month. But now it's a standard TV show, and it's literally just AEW Dark. Like, that's what the show is to me. I watched it this week, and I don't normally watch the show on a week-to-week basis. Sometimes I'll catch a sizzle reel, or sometimes I'll check out the results, because I can just imagine what happened by looking at the results here. But I watched it the other day, and it's like, it kicked off with like Big Bill versus Serpentico and a squash match. There was a lot of squashes. They do have a good nucleus of talent. The talent isn't the problem. It's the fact that it's basically AEW Dark with a pay-per-view. There's not a lot of continuity. It wasn't a lot of storytelling involved. It was just match after match after match. So I don't really like the way they're kind of doing the show. If it was up to me, as you mentioned, right? You mentioned that the show is seeing improvement in certain spots, right? Like, you and I have a little bit of ideological difference when it comes to what we like in a wrestling show. That's obvious, and that's fine, right? I like the AEW Collision, what they're doing on that show, and perhaps pairing Ring of Honor with that team could benefit the show, making it more of like a super show each and every week, best of the indies type thing. Because watching the show this week, I didn't really see anything laid out for the pay-per-view at all, essentially, except for these tournament matches. Pretty sure Dalton Castle wrestled Tony Nese. It just, to me, it's like Vince McMahon's version of ECW right now, and that's never a good thing. Not saying they can't recover, but right now that's where it's at.
The main problem right now is it just has not had any wow factor. And that's the main thing when it comes to Tony Khan. When it comes to Tony Khan, we know that over the course of the last 4 years, no matter what he's doing, he always manages to give us some wow factor when it comes to these shows. And coming out of Supercard, like I said, the build towards Supercard was actually pretty solid. It was fleshed out nicely. And then coming out of Supercard, they didn't really do anything. I thought that they would have built the show up a little bit more, considering that they announced the pay-per-view. But then during the media call today for Blood and Guts and for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, Tony Khan actually mentioned that this was actually one of the more challenging builds because we had Eddie Kingston. He had to drop out. Kingston had to drop out because Kingston was actually competing in the G1 Climax. He's competing in the G1 Climax. And then it was originally supposed to be Mark Briscoe versus Samoa Joe. Kingston went to the G1 Climax, and Mark Briscoe was slotted in against Claudio. And I was actually looking forward to that because I actually thought that they were going to give Mark Briscoe the World Championship, and he was going to follow in his footsteps of his brother Jay Briscoe. That didn't happen because Mark Briscoe went down with a knee injury. On top of that, he had to make some modifications because a lot of the Ring of Honor talent is also used on AEW television. Another thing they really need to do is they really need to focus on getting these split rosters. We should see talent exclusive to Ring of Honor. And if anything, you want to have them make an appearance here or an appearance there on AEW television, you can absolutely do that. Again, not a dog shit show. We do get some decent wrestling, and we do get some solid championship matches on there when they are placed on there, but very, very lackluster coming out of Supercard of Honor. That's probably the best idea for them, maybe to pair it with Collision, or maybe assign some other people to help with the creative process and then run it by Tony Khan as the final say, rather than Tony Khan having his hands all over it. Because again, he's great, but he's not going to be able to do everything at once. He's a fucking human being like the rest of us, and he cannot operate like a fucking cyborg.
Yeah, and also I believe he put Stokely, and they are bringing in some other agents. Like, I know Kevin Matthews just started on the road with them. I really like Kevin Matthews. What a good guy in every sense of the word. Really like that guy. And he's a great get for them. I think he's got, 10, 15 years ahead of him with AEW doing some creative work. So they do have the talent there to kind of steamhead that show. But like you mentioned in the very beginning, I want to make this point clear. you mentioned it's not really the focal point. It's not the focus right now. They're really trying to build up the AEW brand. They got to sell this video game. They need people to buy these pay-per-views. And most importantly, they need people to keep watching the television show, man, because, we won't go too deep into the ratings, but I just want to state that, ratings going stagnant or down is never a good thing. You always want to kind of continue to build your audience little by little, week by week. So
it's all about the networks. If the networks are happy, then at the end of the day, they're doing just fine.
Yeah, but at a certain point, when's the network not going to be happy if the rating keeps going down? Right?
That is when they have to start worrying. Like, here's the thing. Yeah. People always want to make a big deal about Rampage's ratings. It was never Tony Khan's initiative to put Rampage at 10 p.m. on a Friday. That was Time Warner that wanted it.
Sure.
If anything, it should have been at 7 p.m. if it was going to be an hour. 7 to 8. That would have been better.
That show, I want to be clear, the show like Rampage at 10 o'clock, it's akin to just selling ads to a specific demographic. Like, that's what they're trying. That's what WBD wants to do on TNT TNT. They want to sell advertising for that hour to a specific demographic of people. And that's what they're doing. If you pay attention to the commercials, that's specifically what that show is for. So the content of Rampage at this point really doesn't matter. I'm focusing more on
that's not a terrible show. It's just not must see. It's not must see at all.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to dunk on the show. I'm just giving it from the business perspective side of it. That's really what TNT's motive is to sell ads, because these big companies, Warner Brothers, are you kidding me? They've been around for 100, 200 years.
Yeah.
They have advertising partners that are literally just trying to give them money. Like, here, take our money for original content. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big part of it. Although as wrestling fans, you want the shows to be as good as possible. And I think I have never dunked on AEW's effort. You'll never hear me dunk on their effort. It's just that, right now it's not really jiving with me. But let's get back on track here if you'd like to, bro. We're kind of divvying off a little.
No. Trust me, because, the card really hasn't been too fleshed out. I mean, we have a solid amount of matches. I wanted to talk about a plethora of different topics only because of the fact that I will not be here over the weekend. And I wanted to, get a nice wide variety of topics out there, especially considering that, you bring a lot of good takes to the table yourself. But the last thing I want to talk about before we get into this little Battle of the Belts review, the one thing that I noticed is they're putting it on a Friday again. Now, I understand why they did that for Supercard, because WWE had NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday, and if Tony Khan put Supercard of Honor on that day, it would have been overkill. So I understand that.
They always do Supercard. Ring of Honor historically always does Supercard on WrestleMania weekend. That's just a part of their tradition. So
yes. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. That I have no problem with it doing it on a Friday. I have no issue with that. The issue that I have with it now is the fact that there is no WWE pay-per-view going down. And I understand you got Collision, but that's not stopping you from putting it on a Sunday. And these Ring of Honor pay-per-views, they're not like AEW pay-per-views. Most AEW pay-per-views, they've been going till around 11:45, sometimes 11:50, but they usually do it like on a Memorial Day weekend or a Labor Day weekend, so it doesn't really matter. It pretty much cancels everything out. But Ring of Honor pay-per-views, they only tend to go the 3-hour limit. I don't think that we've had a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that's gone like 3 hours, 15 minutes or 3 hours and 30 minutes. It's always remained in that 3-hour time frame, and they've made do with that time. They've made do with that time perfectly. Matter of fact, you take a look back in 2022, the Ring of Honor pay-per-views were actually slightly better than the AEW pay-per-views. If you ask me, I thought the Ring of Honor pay-per-views in 2022, they were fucking great. They were awesome. Final Battle, Death Before Dishonor, and Supercard. But now they got it here on a Friday, and they're not putting it on a Sunday, which would have been July 23rd, like we would usually see. They're putting it on a Friday again. The one thing that I kept on thinking about is Tony Khan falling into that petty range? Because here's the thing. When it comes to WWE, one of the main things that turns people off to that company is the fact that they could just be so fucking petty. The pettiness when it comes to wrestling companies in 2023, it doesn't really help anything. This whole narrative of competition helps everything. It's pretty much dead. That shit is dead. Back in the Attitude Era, it was alive and well. But in this era, I have not seen anything regarding competition making the companies any better. Matter of fact, when AEW came around, WWE actually got worse than what they were. And I don't even know how that's fucking possible. The one thing I don't want is I don't want Tony Khan to fall into that pettiness trap and start using Ring of Honor pay-per-views to try and counter a SmackDown just because now granted, SmackDown really isn't must-watch at all. I mean, outside of the Bloodline storyline, WWE television as a whole absolutely sucks grizzly bear dick. So at the end of the day, it don't matter. So when it comes to Ring of Honor and Tony Khan, I really do not want him falling into that pettiness trap. Have you felt that, or is this just something completely different? Am I just blowing it out of proportion?
Blowing it out of proportion. Ring of Honor is not even going to make a dent to SmackDown. It's not even a thought. I mean, you're going to have 1% perhaps of the regular SmackDown audience that is going to watch Ring of Honor instead of SmackDown. So this doesn't even make a dent. This might be just akin to logistics, or maybe they couldn't get an arena on Sunday and maybe Friday was the best night. Also, a Friday night, they might get a great deal to put a wrestling show on in Trenton on a Friday night. They might get a great booking deal. So you have to take all those things into account. You also have to take into account your travel schedule with AEW, right? Because a lot of these same wrestlers are going to be on Dynamite, probably not Collision, but you know what I'm saying. It's in between those two
Collision
tapings.
and Trenton, Collision and Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, they're both in New Jersey.
There you go. Okay. So bingo, man. So a lot of it's logistics, and it's probably nothing to really look into. That's the long story short. But falling into the trap, bro. Wrestling. These guys who promote wrestling, bro. I don't want to sound like Vince Russo with the bros, but locally here in New Jersey, how petty are these guys, bro? I look in the very, very local independent area down near me in Jersey, and it's all pettiness across the
and it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Bro, it's on every level in wrestling. The whole Twitter wrestling is petty. Social media, it's all fucking petty, bro.
I'm not petty. Just don't disrespect me, and I won't do anything to you.
It's the entertainment business in general. You're gonna find this in every single niche in sports. You find this. It's all petty, bro. And you're gonna find counter programming at every level, all time ever in pro wrestling, going back to the 80s, going back to the 70s. Always, forever, man. This is just something that's always going to happen. So if Tony Khan does this from time to time, we can't blame him. This is in the playbook. This is a part of the business.
The sad thing about this all, and a lot of fans haven't really acknowledged it like I've acknowledged it, WWE and AEW, if they would put their fucking egos aside, I'm not saying merge and become one, but if they formed a partnership, I am telling you, they both could be making 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times as much money as they're making right now. The money is not in competition anymore. The money is in partnerships, because the more partnerships that you make, the wider your outreach is going to be, the more audience members you will draw in, thus, the more money you will make.
I disagree wholeheartedly, bro. That's like saying,
cannot tell me that won't happen.
I wholeheartedly disagree. What you're describing is Disney. You're describing like Disney is great for getting like Marvel and grabbing Star Wars and grabbing all these.
No, Disney is a woke piece of shit company. Fuck.
Yeah, but listen to how I'm explaining this, right? They're taking all these intellectual properties and they're putting them under one umbrella, and they're all turning to shit, bro. We don't need.
Well, that's because they're buying them. That's because they're buying them. I'm not talking about buying them. I'm talking about a partnership from time to time. That's what I mean.
The only way it would ever happen is if Endeavor decided to buy AEW and Tony Khan decided to sell it. That's the only way it would ever happen. It's never going to happen. It's a pipe dream.
Yeah, bro. I know.
You're smoking
that I understand, because now Vince McMahon, he got what he wanted, and now we have to suffer through shit programming again. But that's the point that I'm trying to make. You cannot tell me. Hold on. You can't tell me that if they did a super show at a major stadium with AEW and WWE crowds, you cannot tell me that it won't be one of the most watched and one of the most talked about wrestling events in history. You can't.
WWE already does that every year. They don't need AEW. They don't need like Kenny Omega.
No. It would top WrestleMania. It would top WrestleMania. It would absolutely top WrestleMania, and you fucking
the AEW audience is the same audience that watches WWE. Every single AEW wrestling fan watches WWE as well. Every single one, maybe 99 point something %, bro. They're all the same people. So you're not going to do anything
generalized.
You're not going to do anything outside of the blue. Like, who's going to win? Like, you're going to have a bunch of a lot of the same guys just going to fight each other.
You split the matches. However many matches are on the show, you can do half and half.
the best thing that has come
it wouldn't
out.
be a consistent thing. It would be a one-a-year time fucking deal.
It's so the only way this would ever happen is if they did it for like charity. If there was like a charity event, like they used to do this stuff for Brian Pillman Memorial Show. They had the Worlds Collided, WWF Superstars, ECW Superstars, WCW, Terry Funk's retirement ceremony. They had ECW and WWF. This is the only time that this would ever happen, is if it's a charity event. It's never going to happen on like a big scale for their like stakes.
No, I know that because these companies have too many fucking egos. But at the end of the day, dude, I am telling you, if it were to happen, I'm not saying it is, but if it were to happen, it would outdo any type of social media interaction. It would outdo any type of revenue. It would outdo every single fucking marketing scale for any wrestling show in history.
WWE already does it, man. They don't have. That's what I'm saying. They don't need to.
If they partnered with AEW for just one night, it would outdo it all. It would.
For what reason, though? Like, I don't understand what the reason would be.
Money, audience, ratings, everything.
The only thing
create dough.
The only thing that would benefit would be AEW from the exposure. WWE would benefit nothing.
Absolutely boost their audience.
Dude, CM Punk. First of all, the only person that they would want to have are like the returning WWE guys, right? They would want to have CM Punk. They'd want to have Paige. They'd want to have Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho.
Under Vince's administration here.
The WWE audience wouldn't care about the Young Bucks. They'd be like, what is this?
No. They would. A lot of the WWE audiences that haven't seen the Young Bucks, I'm telling you, they would become fans of them. They would.
All right. We're never going to find out unless there's like another.
If you were to give the wrestling world Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns, that shit right there would make fucking headlines across every major fucking wrestling platform. I'm telling you.
Dude, Roman Reigns would tower over Kenny Omega. It would look like a fucking heavyweight versus a cruiserweight, dude. That's what it would look like.
Who the fuck cares, dude? It would be a great match. If you're operating like Jim Cornette over here. Take that shit elsewhere. We are smart people here on the channel.
Dude, I've been the same way my entire life talking about wrestling, man. Roman Reigns would tower over Kenny Omega. It would look hilarious.
We're not talking about guys. It's not the fucking 80s.
Maybe Kenny Omega will sign with WWE someday, bro. Maybe he'll want to be World Wrestling Elite. That could be his whole gimmick, bro. They could all go. They could all go to WWE.
There's only one way that could have happened, and they already blew the boat on that. The only way that WWE was ever going to get Omega and the Bucks was if Cody beat Roman at WrestleMania, which didn't happen. They're never going to.
No way, dude. No way. You're crazy.
Everyone in AEW was watching that match, and Cody didn't win. There ain't going to be no one. Maybe a few, maybe a handful, but no one major.
You live in a fantasy world, bro. You live in a fantasy world.
Dude, I am telling you right now, I know what others don't know, and I see what others can't see. Listen, okay. You're a very knowledgeable dude, but you won't have me beat here. But
all right, go
let's talk about Battle of the Belts a little bit before we get into the prediction show here. Not really much of anything, not really much of a crazy show. We had a couple decent matches here and there, but one thing that I said that they need to do with Battle of the Belts. And for anyone that, I know you say that I don't criticize AEW enough. I have been criticizing them a lot in this stream. I'm going to continue with that by saying the one thing that they need to do with Battle of the Belts, this 1 hour shit, it's not working. Battle of the Belts should absolutely be their true mini pay-per-view between the big four pay-per-views that they have. Battle of the Belts should be in between Revolution and Double or Nothing All Out Full Gear Revolution, and they should be 2 hour live specials on Sundays between 8 to 10 to culminate some mini feuds that's going on AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and or Collision. Because this 1 hour stuff, listen, we get a couple decent matches here and there, but the last time that we had a great Battle of the Belts was probably Battle of the Belts 3 when we saw Claudio versus Takeshita for the Ring of Honor World Champion. That was a great fucking match, probably the best match in the entire Battle of the Belts history. Granted, we did get a couple of really good Battle of the Belts matches back during January, but at the end of the day, when it comes to Battle of the Belts, 1 hour shit, not working. We've already gone through this. It's run its course. We need to have Tony Khan. Tony Khan, if you're talking about media rights deals and you're talking to Time Warner, you got to get Time Warner to do this shit. Make them 2 hours, 4 times a year between the big 4 pay-per-views. That's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was going to be the point of Battle of the Belts in the first place. When they first announced this, I thought it was a great idea because I thought they were going for the old WCW Clash of the Champions vibe. And they kind of are in a sense with having title matches. I get the point behind it, but those were 2-3 hour super shows back in the day on TBS, and they would have huge main events, like Ric Flair would main event and defend the title, or there'd be like a sick tag team match or something like that. There would always be main eventers and something big happening, some kind of big angles. Even as they moved into the NWO era, there would always be like a big major storyline that would happen, and this isn't what's happening on Battle of the Belts. I did not watch this show in full, but I did watch a sizzle reel of it, so I watched the entire show in about 12 minutes, so I saw all kind of like the big moments and everything, and definitely not must see by any stretch of the imagination. Again, simply, this goes back to the same point I made before, bro, about Time Warner just wanting content to sell to our demographic. Wrestling fans, 18 to 42 males or whatever the exact demographic is right now, 49 males, whatever it might be. That's who they want to sell stuff to. That's it. Taco Bell commercials, fucking whatever. Big pharma commercials. You'll see the same exact shit every single week. And I'm privy to this because I really am interested in the business aspect of why they do this, of why they create this content and what these commercials are. So I pay attention to those a lot of the time. And I guarantee you, it's always the same commercials when I watch Dynamite, when I watch Rampage or Collision. So yeah, same thing here as Rampage, just more content, just cranking out content. And dude, think about this as well. Hollywood writers are on strike right now. So all these companies, they are just like
less pedophiles in the industry. There you go.
Love it. You're right. But also they need content. They're starving for original content. So this is also going to give the wrestling industry a boost in the next few months and years. So
the one thing that I really do hope at some point is they will wake up and they will do the 2-hour Battle of the Belt specials. You can still keep that shit with Rampage. Here's the thing. If they were to move Rampage to 7 to 8, you got Collision on Saturdays, you got Dynamite on Wednesdays, and then you got the Battle of the Belts 2 hours live on Sundays between the big 4 pay-per-views, then they got the perfect set schedule. The problem is that you just got to move it around. But again, this is what Time Warner wants. I'd like to hope at some point Tony Khan is going to coerce them into expanding it and making it a little bit better than what it is. But let me tell you something. If they were to have the 3 matches that they had here, and then they would have added the FTR Bullet Club Gold match and made it a 2-hour special, I'm telling you, it probably would have been one of the best live specials of the year.
Yeah, a Collision needed that match, though, bro. Collision really needed that match.
Collision's been on fire ever since the debut.
Here's the thing I like about Collision, right? The one show, there's moments that are head scratching, and sometimes a pay-per-view build-up moment here and there that's kind of like, eh. But for the most part, the continuity of the shows, if you lay them all out and look at the cards one after the other, they all kind of they're telling a story, especially with the main guys, CM Punk, Ricky Starks, Samoa Joe, right? Then you have FTR and Bullet Club Gold. They all kind of are tied together right now in this twisted weave story that we're going to see play out. And I'm sure they're doing this on purpose. I think we're headed in a lot of cool directions with this show. I'm looking forward to CM Punk and FTR versus House of Black. Get ready for that. That's going to.
I actually think it's going to be Blackpool Combat Club versus House of Black.
Perhaps, but I don't know if we're going to see Blackpool Combat Club move over to Collision at all. Probably not even.
I don't even think. Do they even have problems with Punk? I don't even think they do.
Yeah, John Moxley does big time.
I thought he was just the guy that just lets everything roll off of his back.
Not with CM Punk, bro.
They'll work that shit out.
Maybe hopefully.
I don't think it's going to be a major deal. I do believe at some point we're going to have to see CM Punk and FTR versus Omega and the Bucks at All In.
House of Black. I'm telling CM Punk is motivated to work with those House of Black guys because they're all part of this like straight edge kind of like weird tattoo punk rock thing, you know.
So like at the end of the day, we're probably going to see House of Black get past the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass on Collision this week. Then they're going to get past Andrade and the LFI, because I'm assuming that's where it's leading to. And then probably at All In, it's going to be CM FTR versus House of Black. I mean, that I could see. That wouldn't be bad. But
Yeah, remember this too. Brody King carries CM Punk's bag, so I mean, he definitely needs to rub
absolutely.
CM Punk's
I mean, come on. I mean, he's pretty much CM Punk's butt puppet. But let's talk about first match here. We got Orange Cassidy, Lance Archer, AEW International Championship. This was not bad, but compared to the other Orange Cassidy matches that we've seen, it did not live up to Orange Cassidy match expectations. Matter of fact, we did not need the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass interview on the show. You could have taken that off and given about 5 more minutes to Lance Archer and Orange Cassidy, and it would have really ramped up. However, I didn't really see Archer winning this match. At least I didn't see Cassidy beating Archer by pinning him. And if they were to have Orange Cassidy retain, which they did, this was probably the best way to do it because Orange Cassidy, he delivered an orange punch to Archer. Archer fell off the apron. Cassidy rolled back into the ring, and Cassidy retained the International Championship via countout. So I'm actually going to throw that out there. That was actually the perfect way to have Cassidy retain because it did not make Archer look like a bum, and it really plays up to the fact that Orange Cassidy is pretty much fighting from behind, fighting like his life fucking depends on it because he does not want to fucking lose the International Championship. And this International Championship run that Cassidy's been on, it has probably been one of the best championship reigns that AEW's ever done. This man is running through everyone, and he is putting on fucking bangers with everyone he steps into the ring with. You can put him in the ring with a fucking blow-up doll, and he'll lead the blow-up doll to a decent match. That's how good Orange Cassidy is. Now, I don't know who's going to take it off of him, but I have thrown out Miro because Miro's on Collision. So if you want to move Orange Cassidy over to Collision, and Orange Cassidy, he really seems like a guy that is down to work with anyone. So I would not be surprised if they move Cassidy over to Collision to have Miro take the International Championship, probably at either All In or All Out, and he can go on a run with it. But what were your thoughts on this, the way that Cassidy retained, and who is taking that title off Orange Cassidy?
I sometimes think, are you really a champion in AEW if you don't defend against Lance Archer and beat him? I feel like everybody beats him in a title match, right? Darby beat him and Adam Page beat him.
Darby never beat Lance Archer.
Are you sure?
Moxley beat him. Moxley beat him. Miro beat him. Hangman beat him. Cody beat him. But no, Darby never beat him.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, my point is, like, he's pretty much the king of putting the champions over at this point. So there was no doubt that he was going
attraction.
Yeah, man. You bring out Jake the Snake Roberts. Lance Archer's cool, man. I have no problem with him.
Jake's great. Jake's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So Orange Cassidy, no doubt that he was going to win this match. Again, I watched the sizzle reel. I didn't catch the full match. But I do like the idea of Miro eventually taking the belt from him. I do think this Collision show needs a not a world champion, but a singles title to be featured on the show.
I mean, it's got the TNT title, and Christian and Luchasaurus, they're going to do some good shit with that.
Yeah, true, but also I do think that this Orange Cassidy's international title, as you mentioned, he's been defending it like crazy. It's built up this kind of like reputation. I think he just broke the record for the amount of title defenses for an AEW champion that Jade Cargill held, and Jade Cargill had her title for much longer of a time period than Orange Cassidy's had this one. So they've built this up big time. And Miro's the type of guy that needs a direction, right? He needs a belt to fight for. If he doesn't have some kind of like steady goal to go after, it seems like he's kind of lost in the shuffle, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's always been the way his career has been, even in WWE. But anyway, I think that's a good idea. I second that idea. I think that would be cool. And when you're ready to take the belt off, and Miro is the perfect heel to do it. I dig it.
So then we had the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. They were interviewed. They accepted the challenge of QT Marshall and Johnny TV for Rampage. And then the following night, they will be fighting the House of Black in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey for the Trios Championships. I do not see them winning, nor should they win. House of Black, they have been built up very, very nicely throughout this entire Trios title run. They've just been running through everyone. They ran through the Best Friends. They ran through the Acclaim. They ran through the Elite. They ran through the JAS. No reason why the House of Black should be losing. And again, listen, I'm greedy. I want to see House of Black versus Blackpool Combat Club because that would be one hell of a fucking trio. That could be a feud that lasts the entire fucking fall season for AEW, if you ask me. But I don't know. Maybe they do CMFTR versus House of Black, but Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, I don't see them winning the championships unless you see something different.
No, definitely not. House of Black, they've already stated that they're a Collision act. They're going to be on Collision just about every single week. And I think you're building towards that match. As I just mentioned before, CM Punk and these guys are buddies, and FTR, of course, goes back with Aleister Black a long way. So I think there's going to be, and Buddy Matthews, by the way. So I think there's going to be a trios match here probably for the ages. And I do think this will be a blood feud where you might see tag team title matches involved as well. If FTR are still the tag team champs, you might see those belts involved. They might do something unique. And don't forget, man, CM Punk keeps alluding to still being the AEW World Champion, right?
So if that's the case, then he should probably be fighting MJF at All Out.
Potentially, right? Potentially. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
But if MJF beats Punk in Chicago again, I mean, holy shit. Talk about another major stamp on his world title reign.
Yeah, but he's been Punk's been alluding to that clearly, right? Am I wrong in that assessment when he's got that bag?
He absolutely has.
So we'll see where that goes. Who knows how long that might take. But I do think all roads lead to this trios match, and this will be a huge program for Collision when the time is right. As long as they keep this continuity, as I mentioned before, the show just looks beautiful on paper. So let's hope they keep it up.
Yeah, they've actually kept a lot of nice continuity coming out of Double or Nothing. With Dynamite, and then you got Collision leading into Forbidden Door, and then leading into Blood and Guts. This has probably been like the best continuity that we've seen in a good while, probably since like 2020 AEW. So I got to give Tony Khan a lot of credit there. He's managed to condense the rosters to certain people, and he's managed to continue the continuity of storylines. What with Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite, and then you got MJF and Adam Cole, then you got CMFTR tying it up with Bullet Club Gold and Ricky Starks and the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So I appreciate that. We then had the AEW Women's World Championship match, Ty Valkyrie and Toni Storm. Really nothing over the top, a decent little match right here. This was clearly done to give Toni Storm another successful title defense. And Toni Storm right now, she is a wonderful women's champion. It could be Tony time anytime for me. And she does indeed retain the AEW Women's World Championship. There was a lot of bad weather up there in Canada, which actually caused a little bit of a satellite issue. So Mother Nature, she don't fucking like Toni Storm. I think I'm going to have a talk with Mother Nature about why she's being such a bitch. But either way, Toni Storm ends up retaining the championship as she should. And it looks like if she is healed up, we could be getting Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm part number 4 at All In. And that is going to be where Jamie Hayter wins the women's championship back in front of her hometown. And that's going to be one hell of a match. So I really do hope that Jamie Hayter's recovery is going smoothly. I hope that the shoulder injury wasn't too crazy. I hope that it was probably just either a partial tear, or maybe she separated it and she'll have to take a few months off. So I do hope that she is okay. But Toni Storm retains, and it seems as though she is looking down the barrel of Jamie Hayter once again at All In London. But what were your thoughts on this? And do you see something else happening? How far along is Jamie Hayter? Have you heard anything?
Not much to add here. I mean, Toni Storm, Ty Valkyrie, 2 veterans of the game. Again, sizzle reel caught the finish for the most part here. Toni Storm's on fire. I think she's probably the second best women's wrestler in the world, right behind Rhea Ripley. I think she just does incredible work. And I do think that your assessment is correct. I just don't know if Jamie Hayter is going to be ready, because that injury looked nasty to me. I don't know. Like, shoulder injuries can be tricky, right? They can be 4 months, they can be 6 months, they can even go as far as 9 months, depending on, what the damage is. So I haven't heard anything. Let's hope she's ready, because that would be a great moment for her to have in front of a hometown like that. Otherwise, there's plenty of, I guess, women that Toni Storm can fight and go over at all.
Maybe Thunder Rosa, she's due back, and she's owed a rematch.
Who?
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, there you go. She hasn't been on the show. So potentially that might be a way to go, if you can't get Jamie Hayter back in time, sure. And I think isn't she ready? Is she ready yet or not yet? She made a cameo. I don't know.
It's like a little tricky.
Did she make a cameo?
I don't know. She has she's had a very complicated back issue. She had discs in her back, and I don't know if she had to get surgery or not, but it's been rather complicated. She's been on the road. She's been traveling. She's been doing Spanish commentary, but I don't know, man. Thunder Rosa's actually been keeping everything very, very close to the chest. And yes, it's not our business, but it still is rather concerning.
Yeah, totally. I agree,
I don't
man.
know.
Hopefully she's back healthy soon and ready to go because she is a great addition to the roster.
Oh no, absolutely. And if anything, I was actually really much looking forward to the supposed heel turn that was eluding us going on in that feud with Tony Storm going into All Out last year. And then the main event, we got Shawn Spears, Luchasaurus. This was probably the best match on the entire Battle of the Belt show. This was for the TNT Championship, and it really does show you how underrated Shawn Spears is. When Shawn Spears goes out there and you let him work, Shawn Spears is very, very good. He really does not get the praise that he deserves. He really doesn't. Luchasaurus is great in his own right as well, and I'm very, very happy that he's got this thing going on with Christian where Christian is the one carrying the TNT Championship like a fucking prick, and Luchasaurus is doing all the dirty work. I actually like that little aspect of it. It makes me chuckle every time to see Christian just be an absolute fucking douchebag. But this was not bad here whatsoever. We actually had a couple of scenarios here where Shawn Spears was on a babyface comeback. He delivered a super kick. He went after Luchasaurus, but he caught a choke slam onto the barricade and then threw a table, which looked very brutal. Spears got back into the ring before the 10 count. Another choke slam, but Spears kicked out. Christian brought out a chair and he put it between the ropes, and Spears actually sent Luchasaurus into the chair, rolled him up for a very close 2 count, and then Luchasaurus delivered a nasty lariat right to the back of Shawn Spears' head, and Luchasaurus wins a fun little match here. And I would like to see Shawn Spears work a little bit more on AEW television because Shawn Spears, he is in great shape, and he is still fantastic at what he does. And I love the chairman gimmick. So I think that Shawn Spears, you put him on Collision, you give him a decent little role. I think that Shawn Spears could be a nice little addition to the roster. I'm not saying he's going to win any major championships, but it's always a pleasure to see him on TV. But what were your thoughts on this? Where can you see this TNT title run with Luchasaurus going?
I mean, Shawn Spears is a hell of a hand, right? I think it would be cool. You know, I know Jungle Boy is a part of a different, not Jungle Boy, whatever. Jack Perry is part of a different clique now, but he's a heel.
It's Hollywood Jack Perry now.
I think it would be kind of cool, honestly, if he rejoined Christian and Luchasaurus in the future and like was more of the cocky, arrogant leader of the little group now since they're all heels. I think that would be dope. Eventually, maybe not right away, but I do think it's fucking hilarious how Christian is kind of alluding to the fact that he's the champion and that Luchasaurus isn't the champion. I love that. I've always loved Christian. I've been a big fan of his my entire life. So I'm pumped for that. But again, Shawn Spears was probably the biggest underdog in championship wrestling history in any way, shape, or form. There was no way he was winning this match because Luchasaurus just got this belt and they're working this storyline. But again, this was just content, just a match. Again, saw the sizzle reel, didn't see the whole match. It's not even worth seeing, bro. This is a foregone conclusion, man. Shawn Spears had no chance of winning this. So, but I'm excited I think the storyline's cool. I'm excited for the next chapter where it's heading because I don't know where it's going. What's up with Wardlow? Where the fuck has Wardlow been?
I don't know. I'm not sure. He's another one, just like Thunder Rosa, keeping everything rather close to the chest. I'm not sure if he's dealing with his own injury. I'm not sure if he's dealing with family issues. I'm not sure if he just needed a break. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think that Wardlow should go to Ring of Honor for a little bit because you can do some damage with Wardlow in Ring of Honor. There's a lot of good talent down there for Wardlow to fight. He could fight Dalton Castle. He could fight Stu Grayson. He could fight Shane Taylor. He could fight Claudio. He could fight Katsuyori Shibata and Daniel Garcia and all these fucking guys. So I don't know. Maybe a Ring of Honor run for Wardlow. Maybe he could do some damage down there. Maybe he could beat Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Who the fuck knows? But
yeah, you would think he'd want revenge on Luchasaurus at this point, at some point in the future. I guess I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get Goldberg for All In. Maybe we're going to get Wardlow and Goldberg at All In, and maybe Wardlow's going to beat Goldberg. I can actually see that happening. I'm not even bullshitting you. And listen,
me either. I'd love to see it happen. I would love to see that.
Goldberg can't wrestle for shit, but I mean, look, if he's coming in and he's going to work with a Wardlow and maybe work with put over Brian Cage or put over a Keith Lee or Lance Archer. You know what? He comes in, does that shit. Fine. I don't really give a shit.
Bro,
It is
hold
what
on,
it is.
hold
As long
on, hold on,
as
hold
he's
on.
in, he's out.
Hold on. Bro, Goldberg's not going to AEW to put anybody over. If he goes to AEW, he's winning. All
He is
right. And I
not going to be winning matches. If Wardlow fights Goldberg, Wardlow is the one to win. If Goldberg, he will do anything as long as the money is right. He's like Brock Lesnar 2.0. You pay him enough and he'll lay down.
If he shows up in AEW, he's definitely going to win whatever
It's
he's
not.
doing.
He's going to put people over.
Okay. All right.
If he doesn't, then I'm gonna fucking shit all over this. But
Okay.
as far as Ring of Honor goes, let's actually get into the card over here for Ring of Honor. A couple of matches were confirmed. One match, or two matches rather, have not been confirmed, but this is the direction where I believe that they're heading in. Let's talk about the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship. This is Katsuyori Shibata versus Daniel Garcia. I'm actually very happy that they waited on this. I thought that they were going to do this at Forbidden Door, but they didn't. They ended up doing a fatal four-way match with Sabre, with Shibata, Garcia, and Orange Cassidy, which I'm very happy about that. And they saved this for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I'm still kind of kicking myself. You managed to call Shibata winning the Pure Championship back at Supercard of Honor, you fucking bastard. But I don't know. This is a match where I can actually see a title change coming about. I'm not really sure where Shibata is as far as working relationships with Tony Khan. Obviously, he likes to wrestle for Tony Khan, and he's been open about working for Tony Khan, but I'm not really sure how many duties that he has over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know if he has relocated. I mean, some people are saying that he has an LA dojo in Los Angeles himself. Is that true? Does he have a dojo in Los Angeles?
Yes. So New Japan does have a dojo in LA. Although it's a small school, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's what you're alluding to, is the New Japan dojo in LA, and that's been there for a long time now. And I believe he's the head trainer.
Yeah. So
if I'm wrong, I might be mistaken, but I believe he's the head trainer of that school.
I do believe that Yuta alluded to that. Alluded to Shibata being the head trainer, and that's why he wanted to fight him at Supercard in Los Angeles. But I don't know. It's fairly unpredictable. I could see Shibata winning, but I'm actually going to call Garcia winning here. I think that Garcia winning the Pure Championship would actually be a nice surprise. It would actually, kind of rub it in Sammy Guevara's face a little bit, because Jericho's been alluding to a partnership with Don Callis, and he's trying to say to Sammy and Garcia, hey, you got to stand on your own 2 feet without me. And I guess if you want to kind of create some tension between Sammy and Garcia, you could kind of have Garcia win here and say, hey, look, I'm a champion. Where the fuck's your belt? So they could go that route. I'm actually going to call it right now. I think that Daniel Garcia is actually going to become the new Ring of Honor Pure Champion. I'm
going to agree with you on this one. I think Daniel Garcia has been over. He's been doing a fantastic job. He's one of the best wrestlers.
I love the fucking dance thing that he's fucking doing. It's fucking great.
It's goofy. It's a goofy dance, but it's over. It's funny, and it's different. He's doing the sports entertainer thing with Jericho, and that's awesome. So I think he's going to win. I do think having that belt's going to add, and that'll make him a multi-time Pure Champion, if I'm not mistaken.
That would make him the second ever 2-time Pure Champion in history. Wheeler Yuta was first.
There you go. So I think that's the direction they're going to go, and they're going to give him some gold and allow him to run with the ball, because there's not really much to do on Dynamite for him right now. He's already had big match after big match after big match. Pull him back a little bit, have him help Ring of Honor, and also continue to do the storyline with Sammy Guevara. Probably going to head to a match between those two at some point, I would think, right? Like some kind of big blow-off match. But potentially they become a tag team to wrestle for the tag team belts. Who knows? But anyway,
I actually think MJF and Adam Cole, they're winning that blind eliminator tournament, and they're beating FTR.
Oh, so isn't the finals? What's the finals of it? The finals
it's
of that
Garcia and Sammy versus MJF and Adam Cole. And MJF and Adam Cole have been fucking great.
Yeah, I think maybe who's gonna win that match?
That's going to be MJF and I'm telling you right now, they should absolutely have MJF and Adam Cole win the match, win the titles, and extend this shit out a year, just like they did with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. That right there, it would be absolute fucking gold. It would be the best long-term book storyline in AEW since Hangman's rise to the top.
I think it might be cool. I think I'm with you on that as far as it being cool, but I don't think they're going to do it.
I actually think they are. I'll throw it out there. I think they're gonna fucking win it all. Fucking
Hey,
great, man. We're gonna hit that double clothesline.
But aren't they gonna? Isn't the whole point to have MJF versus Adam Cole again? Isn't that the whole
Yes,
point of this?
and that's going to happen next year after MJF has had a nice long reign with it. He's holding that title at least 500 days, at least 500 days.
And
so
they're going to be friends.
500 days.
They're going to be friends the entire time.
No, they'll be friends when they win the tag team titles. They go on a solid little run. They probably lose the titles around March, maybe. And then you can start the breakup. You can build towards a potential rematch because there's going to have to be an all-in too. There's going to have to be another all-in in London and Wembley. Wembley is going to be a destination for AEW going forward. It has to be. There's 70,000 tickets sold already. And they're going to hit 80. They're going to hit 80. They're going to announce more matches. They're going to hit 80. Then you're going to do it again next year. Next year would be a perfect time to do Adam Cole and MJF again, and Adam Cole's the guy to beat MJF. It's perfect storytelling.
All right.
Long-term booking, my friend.
Let's see what happens.
Well, we'll talk about that afterwards. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. Daniel Garcia. We are Daniel Garcia across the board here.
Yeah.
This match was recently just announced. Best Friends versus The Kingdom versus the returning Aussie Open. And my God, am I fucking happy to see Aussie Open. They are fucking phenomenal. And the Lucha Bros defending the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships in a fatal four-way match. A little unpredictable, I would say. You can make a case for Aussie Open. You can make a case for the Kingdom. You can make a case for the Lucha Bros. I am actually going to throw it out there that the Lucha Bros are going to end up retaining this because the Kingdom, they have been the ones to really nail it in that they want those Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. So if they're put in this match, they're probably going to lose, but they will not get pinned. And they're going to go on and say how it wasn't all that fair and we weren't the ones pinned and we want a shot at the Lucha Bros. And then we'll probably get another rematch with the Kingdom and the Lucha Bros later on. And then when we cross that bridge, then we can decide who wins that. But right now, I don't feel as though it's a good time for the Lucha Bros to lose it. Lucha Bros right now, I think they deserve a nice long run with those Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. They've actually had a pretty decent year themselves. They were Trios champions, and then they recently just became the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. You could actually do a lot with the Lucha Bros down there. There's a lot of tag teams that I actually want to see them fight straight up. I would love to see them go up against the Dark Order and the Righteous. I'd love to see a tag team match between, like a standard 2-on-2 tag team match between them and potentially Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, or Top Flight when Dante Martin gets back healthy. You could do a lot with the Lucha Bros in Ring of Honor as tag team champions. So I think that it's best probably to keep the titles on them in this match. You can have them pin the Best Friends because the Best Friends, look, they're the best friends. They're super over and they're always going to be over. They can take as many losses as they can and they will not be harmed. But in the end, I'm actually going to throw it out there. It's probably going to be somewhere around the fall time. Maybe they wait till Final Battle, but I can actually see Aussie Open taking the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles from them. Or maybe the Kingdom takes it and Aussie Open, they're on Dynamite. Maybe they go up against FTR, potentially for the World Tag Team titles of AEW. There's a lot of really good tag teams. The tag team division is slowly becoming revitalized in AEW and Ring of Honor right now. You got Best Friends, The Kingdom, Aussie Open, Lucha Bros, FTR, Bullet Club Gold. You got MJF and Adam Cole added to the mix now. The Bucks are always going to be there. House of Black, Blackpool Combat Club. But as far as this match goes, this should be a chaotic match. And in the end, I do see Lucha Bros winning. I think they're going to pin the Best Friends, and then we're going to move on to a standard 2-on-2 tag team feud with the Kingdom.
Cool, man. I mean, you basically said it. I'm actually also going to take Lucha Bros here, and here's the reason. There was just a news story the other day that Rey Fenix dropped all of his AAA belts. I think he had 2 belts down in Mexico, and he turned them back over because he's going to focus more on his career in Ring of Honor and AEW. So I think that basically says, like, yes, he's going to be fully committed to doing the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship thing. I do think at this stage of the game, there the first time they've ever been Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, and they
Yes.
need to kind of establish themselves as a Ring of Honor Tag Team and solidify those belts with a nice long run. That's what Ring of Honor has really always been about as far as champions have been concerned, except for obviously the pure belt that changes hands quickly because of the rule set. But anyway, so I'm with you on this. The other tag teams are all great. Aussie Open coming back is awesome. I think they're going to settle on Dynamite, but having them on Ring of Honor here is a great spot for them. Should be a great match. Hopefully that Trenton crowd is rocking for this one because it's going to be chaotic as you said. Give me Lucha Bros. I'm with you on this.
Now, next one, we actually got a match that was confirmed last week after Willow Nightingale beat Athena. It is Willow Nightingale and Athena, Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. And now, if you remember, if you watched Ring of Honor back in March on the March 9th edition, the March 9th edition of Ring of Honor TV, that was episode 2 in the reboot. Athena brought Willow Nightingale to her best match ever that I've personally seen of Willow. Willow Nightingale and Athena, they went about 16, 17 minutes back on Ring of Honor TV on March 9th. I would encourage you to go out and watch it. It was a great fucking match. And Athena ended up winning. But I did mention that Athena, if there's one woman who I could see taking the title off Athena when the time is right, it's Willow Nightingale. And Willow Nightingale, if you've taken a look at Willow Nightingale, she's had one hell of a year. This has really been Willow's year. She had a great match with Athena. She beat Mercedes Moné to win the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship. She won the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So if anything, I would keep the momentum going. If anything, this seems like the best possible time to take the title off of Athena. She's held it for, I would say, 223 days by now. She's held it for a nice, solid amount of time. She's been kicking everybody's ass. So if you want to keep the momentum rolling, you have Willow win it. And Athena, you can move Athena up to AEW television and potentially start building her up for a major feud with Chris Statlander for the TBS championship. Because that right there, if you want to talk about women's match of the year, you give those two women 15, 20 minutes, Athena and Chris Statlander for the TBS championship, that right there could absolutely steal the whole fucking year for women's wrestling and maybe even professional wrestling as a whole. Because Athena is just that good. Athena right now, she has been the best women's champion in all of pro wrestling right now. She is absolutely on fire. And the one thing that I love about Athena is this. Heel champions tend to cower away and they don't want to fight. They want to wait it out. Athena's like, no, give me women to fucking beat the shit out of. And then after I'm done, I'm going to move on to the next woman and the next woman. Give me more women so I could just break them right in front of everyone's face. That's what I love about Athena. That's how great Athena really is. But listen, just like Shibata and Garcia, it's unpredictable. It's very unpredictable, but I'm going to throw it out there. I think this is the second major title change that we're going to see at the show. I think Willow's winning it all.
I'm disagreeing. I'm saying Athena wins. She has something really substantive in Ring of Honor right now. She's been built up as an unstoppable monster over these past few years, and she is just light years ahead of Willow. You're right, Willow's had a great year, but you can't have her continually win over and over and over again, right? Like the Sasha Banks thing, Mercedes Moné thing was kind of a fluke, right? Mercedes got hurt, so she got the win there. Owen Hart tournament, I understand that 100%. Once that match was booked, there's no way you're going to have a heel win. Like that Owen Hart tournament isn't meant for heels. It's just not meant for heels. Like that's meant for baby faces. So I saw her winning that, no doubt, once I saw the finals there. But I don't think this one's going to be her night. I do think Athena retains the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. I think this is a part of a bigger plan to continually build that belt up as one of the top women's titles in professional wrestling, because you got to think, if Willow did win it, then what? What does she have? So I do like your idea of Athena going back to Dynamite and wrestling Chris Statlander. So we'll have to see if that plays out. Maybe they even do a championship versus championship match in the future. That would be kind of cool. But I do think Athena wins this. She's really got something good going for her.
If Athena wins this, then she's probably not going to be on AEW television anytime soon because she made it very, very clear that Ring of Honor is her priority. But listen, I wouldn't mind if Athena wins it, but the question rises, what exactly do you do? Do you continue to build up Willow one more time, and then on her third try at the Ring of Honor World Championship and Athena, then she finally does it?
I think they're
When
so
does
high
Athena
in
lose?
Willow that I really think that Tony Khan's super high in Willow as like being a potential mainstream big time star for her. That I think there's a better chance of her going for the AEW Women's Championship than the Ring of Honor one in the future. I think that's really where the pie in the sky is for Willow. And let me say this too. I mentioned when we first kicked off the show, Richard Holiday I saw at MLW. I also saw Willow for the first time live at MLW. And let me tell you, when I first saw her, she stood out, bro. She stood out. And I had a feeling she would do big things. And I think Tony Khan sees that. And that's why she's getting the substantial push. You know, who knows? I think there's big things in the future. And I do think that they see her as a mainstream AEW women's champion, down the road for sure.
No. I do believe that, but I just don't know where she would fit right now. Because right now she's on a hot streak right now, and you want to continue that hot streak. And she wouldn't really fit into anything on AEW television right now because you got Jamie Hayter potentially coming back and fighting Tony. You got Thunder Rosa as well. And that's going to extend going into the next year. And then if anything, with Chris Statlander's not losing that TBS championship anytime soon. She's in line for a strong title reign.
So when you have like a wrestling roster, you have like a depth chart, right? So you have your backup plan. So if Jamie Hayter doesn't work out, maybe you have Thunder Rosa next. But if, say, they're both not ready, then Willow might be that backup plan. She might be third at this point as far as baby faces. So perhaps you see Tony Storm versus Willow if Willow's the backup plan, right? Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. But I like Athena here. I think that finish, I can't remember the name.
The O-face.
Boom. Whatever that is, like Athena's just crushing with her finish. So I think that that probably puts out Willow in this match.
Listen, it's certainly going to be an interesting dynamic for sure, but I would be okay with either. I would personally be okay with either right now, mainly because, listen, with how good Athena is and the fact that, listen, we don't normally see a lot of long women's championship reigns in the realm of pro wrestling right now. We only just started to see that with Bianca Belair. But if Athena were to win this to continue her momentum, I'm telling you, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it whatsoever.
Sure. Who's Claudio fighting? What's the
we still do not know, and we are going to predict that as well. We're going to predict that as well, but we're going to predict that in the end because that's the main event.
All right, got it.
Let's talk about Samoa Joe, and it was confirmed Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. This was originally supposed to be Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe, but Mark Briscoe was put in the world title picture before he got injured. I'm going to throw some out there about Dalton Castle right now. Dude, when I first laid eyes on him at Supercard of Honor 2022, I didn't know what the hell I was watching.
You've never seen him before? You didn't see him before
I've never heard of him. I've never seen him. I've heard his name, but I've never actually seen him perform.
Okay.
So I didn't know what the fuck I was watching with these fucking the human stools and these fucking peacock feathers. I was looking at this guy like, this guy's a fucking comedy clown. This guy's awesome. But listen, as I watched him more, I saw his match with Jonathan Gresham. I'm like, okay, he's not a bad wrestler. And then I saw him again at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. I'm like, all right, so he's flinging these guys around through the ropes. All right, you know what? He's actually not that bad. And then all of a sudden, I see him fighting Chris Jericho on AEW Dynamite. I'm like, man, this guy's fucking great. I don't know what happened, but as time went on, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm starting to get it. I think this guy's entertaining as fuck. And I didn't even realize, he probably doesn't even realize how funny he is as he's cutting promos during his entrance.
No, he knows, bro. He's been around he's been doing this for a really long time now. I think he's been Dalton Castle in Ring of Honor for like 10 years or more at this point, dude. He's phenomenal, man. I've been a fan of his for a while. Again, I had the same exact reaction to him when I first saw him back in the day. And I was like, what is this? Like, it wasn't really up my alley. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, but I get it. It's 100% a character, and he crushes it, bro. He fully puts himself into that character, into that gimmick. and it's gone in so many weird directions over the years, man. I remember people used to fight over the boys. Like I think he had a fight with Silas, or a feud with Silas Young, and Silas Young like won the boys, like the boys were his or something, and he was going to turn them into men. And that was the storyline. It was just brilliant. It was like a B storyline in ROH at the time, but I loved it. It was entertaining. So I love him. I think he's great.
Yeah, I'm actually very much looking forward to this match. Even though there's not much build, unless Samoa Joe is fighting a Mark Briscoe or maybe a Roderick Strong, because that feud is still open. Roderick Strong is still open because Samoa Joe did beat Roderick Strong in the first round of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I actually thought that was going to be the World Championship, World Television title match, but that did not turn out to be the case, and they decided to do this little mini tournament. Dalton Castle won. Dalton Castle's not beating Samoa Joe, but it should be an entertaining match to say the least. Whenever Samoa Joe wrestles, it is a great thing. Samoa Joe is on absolute tear right now. Here's a question. Does he break Jay Lethal's record?
Yes.
He does.
What else is he going to do? What else is he going to do? That's my thing, bro, is, ROH, AEW, there's so many wrestlers there that if you're going to have Samoa Joe be the Ring of Honor television champion, right? He just was in the Owen Hart tournament. He's getting some stuff done on Collision. He's one of the greatest wrestlers in my lifetime, right? Let's say the last 20 years. Samoa Joe's one of the greats over the last 20 years, man. What else is he going to do? Let's have him break this record and let's have him fight Jay Lethal. Let's book that match to break the record. When's this record getting broken? Do you know the record?
This record should be broken on November 1st of this year.
Then let's have that match in November, like right around that time. Do that match. Have that match happen. That would be dope. Yeah, there's no way Samoa Joe's losing to Dalton Castle in Trenton, New Jersey on pay-per-view, bro. That's not happening. So Samoa Joe.
If it was Mark Briscoe, I would say yes, but no.
Maybe, but even that, bro. I think Samoa Joe is going to break this record and probably hold the belt for much longer. Samoa Joe, his Ring of he was a Ring of Honor world champion, and he was on a monstrous run that was epic, just completely epic. Austin Aries ended up being the one to take the belt off him in a really cool match with a sick finish. He hit him with a crazy combo, but it took a lot, and I think Samoa Joe is cementing that Ring of Honor legacy. They're being very true to Samoa Joe's character since this Ring of Honor relaunch and him being the TV champion. I really like what they're doing with him.
I don't know. I don't know what you do with him after he loses. I mean, he could fight for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I can see him fighting the babyface that beats Claudio, whoever that may be. I don't know. Maybe he goes on to. I mean, he's going into a feud with Punk right now. Do we see Punk versus Joe for the Ring of Honor World Television title potentially at All In?
Potentially, yeah. Why not? I mean, if that's
does Punk beat him?
CM Punk got the win, and Samoa Joe simply attacked him, just being true to his character. He's done that his whole career, bro. Samoa Joe has attacked people after the bell his entire freaking career, consistently for 20 years. That's why he always does it, bro. He always does it. So I don't necessarily think that means there's going to be a bigger issue between the two moving in, but you're right. That could be a match because they're going to need a huge marquee match on pay-per-view for CM Punk. So perhaps they do put a title on the line and have that match happen. Who knows? I don't know where they're heading with him, but I don't see him losing to Dalton freaking Castle on pay-per-view, dude. No way.
No, he's not losing to Dalton Castle. Unless it was Mark Briscoe, Joe was always going to retain. Yeah. Joe is always going to retain, and this is going to be yet another bookmark in his already impressive Ring of Honor World Television Championship title reign. This match, it's not confirmed yet, but I do believe that they will confirm this. And we're coming down to the home stretch here because after this, we're going to talk about the main event. Stu Grayson versus Evil Uno. This has actually been probably the only story on Ring of Honor television right now. The Righteous, who I fucking love. I find myself snapping my fingers every now and then. I think the Righteous are fucking great. We need Bateman. We need Bateman to come back over, and we need the whole Righteous back together because they are fucking great. But the Righteous kind of coerced Stu Grayson to leave the Dark Order, and now the Righteous is trying to bring out that same aggression in the Dark Order that they brought out of Stu Grayson. And they've kind of been building towards Grayson and Uno, the former Dark Order tag team partners, the OG Dark Order, fighting for the very first time ever, which I don't mind whatsoever. I think that they could put on a pretty solid match if you give them the amount of time. And if anything, I would love to see that. So if we do Stu Grayson versus Evil Uno on Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, that should be one hell of a fight. And if anything, I don't know. Who do you give the win to? That's actually, one of the more unpredictable matches. I can't really tell you because you can make cases for either or, because Stu Grayson is with the Righteous, and maybe you want to build up the Righteous to potentially fight for the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team titles. Or maybe you do the same with the Dark Order. Maybe the Dark Order is the team to beat the Embassy. That's another thing, because the Embassy is going to have to be on the show. The Embassy is going to defend the six-man tag team titles. I don't know against who, but it's probably going to get confirmed at some point. But I don't know. Who do you give the win here to?
What's the match? Can you tell me the match again? What's the match?
Stu Grayson versus Evil Uno.
No shit. Stu Grayson, dude. There's no way Evil Uno is going to beat him. Stu Grayson wins. They've been tag team partners for many, many years. I think probably 20 years these guys have been partners. So I think Stu Grayson wins. He's the better wrestler. And Evil Uno knows his spot, bro. He knows his role. I think this is a part of perhaps a larger push for Stu Grayson as a part of the Righteous and maybe cementing a different lane of his career. I think that's probably where it's going. I did catch it on this week's Ring of Honor. Evil Uno came out and watched the match. I think it was the Righteous with Stu Grayson against a couple jobber, like local job guys or something. And so I caught that. So I dig it. Fine, bro. Cool. Give me Stu Grayson on this one. Put me on record. Boom. Stu Grayson.
Listen, I wasn't too into this storyline at first because I figured that Stu Grayson and Evil Uno would be great as a tag team in the tag team division. But oddly enough, it feels weird. It's almost like Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. It really feels weird. But oddly enough, I'm actually really enjoying this whole Stu Grayson Righteous partnership. It's weird, but they almost like fit together.
Yeah, it'll probably continue. I think it felt right. I only saw it once, like on ROH this past week when I watched it. I don't really keep up too closely with this show, but I do try to read what's going on and loosely keep up with it because I've always liked Ring of Honor, obviously.
I have to because I got to make myself aware.
Of course. And also, like, I've always liked Ring of Honor. I hate not supporting the brand. I think it's important to support it. And I think it's great that Tony Khan has that intellectual property to use in the future. But in this case, Stu Grayson gets the win. Yeah. And let's continue the storyline. Why not? Why stop?
So let me ask you this. If the Embassy's on the card defending the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team titles, who are they going to fight? Do you see any trio really on Ring of Honor that they could potentially fight against? Maybe Shane Taylor and the Workhorsemen. I mean, like, that wouldn't really mean much of anything, but I'm just trying to throw some shit out there.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in particular. They'll probably throw a lot of cards on at the last minute. A lot of matches on the card at the last minute, I would think.
The match at Supercard kind of made a little sense because, you had Blake Christian and Metalik, who were a tag team in New Japan, so that explained why they were together. And AR Fox, he is good friends with Blake Christian, so that was the trio that challenged the Embassy back at Supercard of Honor. And it was Brian Cage that actually got the win, and he is staying with Ring of Honor, which I'm very happy about because Brian Cage, he has had a pretty damn good year for himself as well. He's a champion, and he has been putting on bangers with everyone. So I hope that continues. I really do hope that continues.
Yeah, they'll fill the show up. There'll be a lot of matches, a ton of matches that we're obviously not talking about that will be on this show.
Main event. Supposed to be Claudio versus Kingston. Kingston's in the G1. Supposed to be Claudio versus Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe's injured. Who's he going to fight? I can see two big names. Number one, Hangman Adam Page. And the reason why I say that is because if you've paid attention, there is a shoe-in storyline with Adam Hangman Page that they could bring up. Adam Hangman Page has beaten every single member of the Blackpool Combat Club except for Claudio. He's beaten Moxley. He's beaten Bryan. He's beaten Yuta. He's never beaten Claudio. That could be a great way to shoe in this match on the card. And if anything, we all know how good Adam Page is. I mean, when he was AEW World Champion, he was putting on fucking bangers with everyone. Bryan, Archer, Cole, Punk. Have him do it with Claudio. And that would be a very nice win for Claudio as well. Hangman's not going to win. He's not going to win. Claudio is not losing that championship to anyone unless your name is Mark Briscoe or Eddie Kingston. And if anything, I'm kind of glad that they're extending his title reign a little bit more because, the more you extend his title reign when either Kingston or Briscoe inevitably beats him, it's just going to feel that much better. Maybe it happens at Final Battle. Who the fuck knows? But Hangman is one guy that I can absolutely see Claudio fighting because shoe-in storyline right there. The second guy would be Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi pins Claudio in the Blood and Guts match tomorrow night, and Kota Ibushi gets the match. That's a big win for Claudio too. One of those two.
I'm with you. Kota Ibushi, I think, is the guy. I'm going to go on record and say it's going to be Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi has a past with Ring of Honor, as does Hangman Page. They both Kota Ibushi wrestled in ROH back in like 05, like 06, something like that. So he's got a long history there. And Hangman Page obviously cut his teeth, became a star in Ring of Honor. So both would be awesome to headline this show. I think if it's Hangman Page, it'll create a lot of buzz. A lot of people are going to want to see that match. But you're going to leave yourself up to potentially some shenanigans. Even though I doubt it, it is ROH. They try historically to stay away from the shenanigans during the match. But when you have this feud, who knows? Maybe there's a whole bunch of run-ins. That's one thing that the Elite and those guys did bring to Ring of Honor when they were there with Bullet Club is there was a lot of run-ins and all that stuff. So perhaps this is a throwback kind of to that way of booking a world title match. But either way, no matter what happens, Claudio Castagnoli retains Ring of Honor World Championship. He walks out with it. Again, another Ring of Honor veteran. Guy cut his teeth there. I have seen him wrestle so many epic matches live at Ring of Honor shows, Claudio, bro. So I'm happy to see him once again wrestle this Friday night, right? Friday night?
It's Friday, yes.
Yeah, I know I've got stuff to do Friday night, but when I'm done with that stuff, I'm going to actually fire up this pay-per-view and watch it. I'm looking forward to it.
I was actually thinking that you were going to take a spin down there and go to the actual event.
I'm booked. I got stuff to do, bro. I'm booked up. But I would have liked to see it live, but I'm going to have to just wait and see the pay-per-view, the replay.
I wish they would have moved it to next week. I wish the pay-per-view would have been next week because if it was next week, I would be going.
Are you getting WrestleMania tickets since it's in Philly?
I don't know, man. I'm going. It's kind of odd because look, with Vince McMahon back in charge and the fact that show has just been absolute shit. I haven't been to a WWE event since before the pandemic. I just cannot give that company my money for any merch or any fucking tickets because the company's shit, dude. It's shit.
WWE is making more money than they've ever made in the history.
Who the fuck cares? The show sucks donkey balls.
Shareholder, baby. Shareholder.
Fuck your shareholder status. The company sucks.
Shareholder. I've always supported WWE, and I'm definitely going to WrestleMania. So if any of you,
unless the old man
psychos, if any of you psychos on Twitter that are in my mentions, any of you psychos, come see me at WrestleMania. And you know what's funny, bro? Let me share this. I went to WrestleMania 35, and guess what I wore on my head at WrestleMania 35? An AEW hat. I wore an AEW hat on my head at WrestleMania 35, and people were actually heckling me at the show. No joke. People were heckling me for wearing that hat at the show. So the beef goes back to that far, man. That was like the beginning of AEW, bro.
Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to whatever goes on social media, you will never meet a hater in real life.
Oh, I have.
I haven't.
I have. I've met many more people who like me in person, who have recognized me at events, who have liked me, who have been like, "Hey Jay, what's up, bro?" A lot of those, but very rarely do I get a public hater.
I've never gotten a hater. I've always gotten people that like me.
One time, but I don't know who it was. They were like, "Boo!" They called me like a bitch or something. I was like, I didn't even know who they were.
I don't know, some 600-pound slob who hasn't seen his dick in years.
He was tiny, bro.
He was like, wait, Hornswoggle size?
Nah, he was like probably 5'5". He was like JD size. He was like JD from New York size, probably. Little
I'm
guy.
taller than 5'5". I'm like 5'8".
Bro, I'll never forget this. Let me tell you something. I used to weigh about 215 pounds. I went to WrestleMania Hall of Fame in 2013, and there was a kid that talked shit about me who wrote for Bleacher Report. His name's Mike Chiari. I'll never forget him. He's on some stupid podcast. I can't remember what the podcast name is. Anyway,
I've never heard of him.
Mike Chiari. Yeah, he was a little bitch. I walked up to him outside of MSG. I walked up to him and I got right in his face. I said, "You want to talk that shit to me in person?" Dude, I swear this kid ran away. He turned around and he booked it. He was like, whoop, and he just ran.
Oh God, you should have gotten that on video. I would have wished.
No,
I could have wished I seen that.
It was still flip phone days back then. I had like a shitty flip phone or BlackBerry or something at the time, bro. It was
God, bro.
He literally turned and booked. This is when I first started doing wrestling media, but there was a lot of shit talking back then, and as there is now. But back then I was about it. If I saw you in person, I'm gonna go up to you and say something. And he fucking ran away. So fuck that guy. And please come, like any of these motherfuckers, like you're not going to catch me at a GCW show. I wouldn't fucking go to one of those. There's no chance. But, people take things too seriously. I don't want to fucking fight anybody or act like a tough guy, but holy shit. Get your emotions in check, people. My fucking dude, you should see my mentions right now, bro. You should see them.
You should see my mentions, dude. Dude, I put out my video, of 6 years of DJ Storms, and I was trying to be genuine, and I still get hate.
Oh God, I know.
I still get hate, and I'm being genuine. I'm talking as myself. I'm telling everyone what it means and how this shit right here, like how important it is to me. And I didn't scream, I didn't curse once, and yet I still get hate.
Oh, these people are pathetic, and they just project. It's like anything with these demented, deranged leftists. They project everything. They're
you know what they remind me of? You know what they remind me of? And I use this to describe Vince McMahon. Have you seen The Hangover Part 3, right?
Of course, yeah.
You remember the end where Marshall shoots the trunk, presumably killing Leslie Chow, and Phil asks, "Why did you do that?" And for the rest of my life, I will never forget this line. It has stuck with me for 10 years. Marshall, John Goodman's character, goes, "Leslie Chow is madness. You don't talk to madness. If you're lucky, you trap it in the trunk of your limo and you kill it." It's like all them. Like, these people, they're fucking madness. They're retards. You don't talk to retards.
It's just insane. But sometimes I like just going back at him. It's just fun.
I just block them. Like, it's funny because I get one person that creates about like 300 different accounts just to troll me, and he's been doing it for like 4 years, and all I do is block and report his account over and over again, and he still comes back. I haven't said a word to the fucking guy.
Me too, bro. Same, bro. I block him. I talk shit back. I like dunk on the amount of followers they have or something, and I just block them.
Which is zero.
Yes, say whatever you want to say. I don't care, but it doesn't mean I have to listen to it or read it, dude. I don't want to read.
Exactly. Like, I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna do my thing, and guess what? No one can touch me.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do shit. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna pay consequences." Fuck you.
How about come up to Jersey? I'm at all of these ISPW events. I literally tweet where I'm going. I'm going to West Milford. Oh no, I'm going to Totowa. Oh, I'm going to fucking Butler. Okay, meet me there. I'll be there. I'll put you through one of those shitty ass tables.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. Love it, bro. It's funny.
But anyway, we have reached the end here. I would say probably one of the best streams that we've personally done. A lot of good discussion back and forth. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Mr. Jay Alletto, for coming on the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and it sure as hell was fun, and I can't wait to do it again. And whenever Ring of Honor comes around again, you can bet I will be giving you the call.
Love it. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Check me out at PWP Nation Facebook for some good stuff, PG content, and tons of comments. Bro, you go on my Facebook page at PWP Nation, you're getting hundreds of comments on like every single post. Great interactions. Like those posts, share those posts, get the fucking word out there, PWP Nation. And if you want to see that spicy fucking controversial takes and content, follow both of us on Twitter, because that's where we bring the fire. 550,000 views the other day, bro. Those are some big numbers, man. Let's give it up.
We're going to keep on getting those big numbers up, and it's going to be a fun summer. The summer of storms continues, but till next time, he's Jay Alletto. I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rundown, but before we get out of here, very important question. that everyone must answer, and you will answer this fucking question. Who runs the IWC?
You do, bro. Go get him.
Damn fucking right, baby. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms? Let's get it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.